Hi, and welcome to Last on the Scene, where we're the last to tell you the latest in nerd news. I'm Dimitri Cole.
And I'm Mark Womp. On today's show, we're going to start it off with Womp's Words, where me and Eric Egg are going to be talking about StarCraft.
StarCraft, you guys talking about some SimCity, right?
Yep, and Defiance.
Defiance. I'm interested to hear about that one.
Should be good.
Joe Brown goes over, he's got a director's spotlight,
Yeah,
right?
he's talking about this guy.
Some dude, some guy,
some stuff
something
and
like
things.
that. And then I actually went to PAX, and so this arena is going to be very special. It's going to be a bit of a PAX wrap-up. By the way, really?
What? It's a great flavor, man.
Is it? Seriously?
Yeah.
No, I don't want any. We should just...
Okay, let's take it over to me. Hi, welcome to Womp's Words. Today's guest is Eric Egg.
I'm not Cuban.
That's up for debate, but that's on our later segment. Now, on today's show, we're going to be going over the new StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm expansion, SimCity, and we're going to be talking about the new TV show and video game, Defiance. Let's kick things off with StarCraft 2 here. Now, I've been playing the new expansion a lot, and I beat the story, and I loved it. Now, for those of you who don't know, StarCraft 2 kind of revolves around three factions: the Terran, which are humans, the Zerg, which are basically aliens who want to eat everybody, and the Protoss, who are like these super advanced aliens.
Reapers?
I mean, I guess no, not Reapers, not at all Reapers. I mean, Reapers. But yeah, it's pretty solid, the new expansion. I would definitely recommend it to anyone out there who's looking, or who liked StarCraft 2. I know you are just getting started with StarCraft 2.
I'm the late one.
How you feeling about it?
I'm enjoying it because it actually has a solid campaign, unlike other RTS games. So I'm really enjoying that. I actually care about Jim Raynor.
Jim Raynor is just a badass. That's what it comes down to.
He is a badass.
He is awesome. But yeah, the campaign's pretty solid. One of my favorite things about the new expansion is the new units that they included. Unfortunately, I've only gotten to play like the new Zerg units because I played through the story, and the Zerg are my favorite. And the whole new campaign revolves around them.
Because everybody likes to kill everybody as aliens.
Everybody likes to kill everybody as aliens. It's intimidation.
Yep.
That's what you need. I like the new one they have. It's kind of like a little tower dude you put down, and you can pick him up and move him around wherever you want, and he'll just little Zergs.
Mark, you can't curse on the show.
Shh, I can do what I want. And I like just setting those outside my enemy base and just like killing everybody. But that's the only unit I've gotten to play so far.
I dare to try it online.
Later segment. Let's move this over on to SimCity though.
Yep. SimCity. SimCity.
What are your thoughts?
Let SimCity serve to all the big publishers and developers out there that online DRM is crap. Okay? It's absolute crap, especially if you pull some BS like EA did, EA Maxis, and you don't have the server capacity for all of the people, because SimCity is a main staple in gaming. Everybody knows of SimCity. It's been around for years.
Simulator. Yeah.
Everybody's played it. So if you're going to make a reboot of it and you're going to push it, and you're not going to have the server capacity for it, you're screwing yourself.
It's true. Did they even have like a beta or anything to test the servers?
They had two betas.
Two betas.
Two betas, but they were both closed.
Ooh. So like they didn't even get to test their server capacity?
No, not at all.
No, that's a problem. I forget what game that, I think it was Gears that happened with or something?
Was it Gears?
Maybe, or Halo.
Didn't Diablo have that issue, I think?
No.
No, they didn't have that issue?
They might have, but I don't remember.
All right.
I played it offline.
Well, I mean, another thing about SimCity is that they've like reworked a few of the things in the simulations, but some of the systems are broken. For example, like traffic, if you get your streets up to like the highest density, which is really difficult to do, even if you have like a good system, it doesn't work. You have a major backlog in everything. And the gambling specialization, because in this game you can specialize your city, make more money that way. The gambling specialization costs a lot of money in the beginning. And when you spend that much money in the beginning, you don't have a lot of money to fix other things.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, that's EA screwed up there.
It really did. But I mean, aside from DRM and everything, SimCity at this point in time, I think is a good buy. Right now. At the beginning, no. Now I think it's fine. I think it's solid.
All right, let's move this on over to Defiance, the new TV show and video game.
From Sci-Fi.
Now, let's split this up into two parts. We'll do the TV show and then the video game and how we think they're going to integrate.
Good.
Now, the TV show, like, I know Sci-Fi hasn't put out a lot of solid things in the past. Like, I mean, it's like, you know.
Camel Spiders.
Camel Spiders, the movie. Phenomenal movie.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was great.
Chupacabra versus the Alamo.
Chupacabra versus the Alamo. Fantastic movie.
They're fantastic because they're bad.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm worried.
And then they had a couple of bad series that I don't want to talk about. But essentially, I feel that the show looks more promising than anything Sci-Fi has showed us in the past. That's how I feel.
Honest to God, I hope so. Yeah. Because they are taking on a really ambitious project with this. And if it goes sideways, I don't know what it'll do. I don't know what it'll do to them.
You don't know what you're going to do to them? How are you going to get to them? This is my question. How are you going to get to Sci-Fi if they screw this up? But, yeah. Well, I mean, from what I've seen of the game, though, I really like what I'm seeing. I think it looks really solid, and I've heard this. I don't know. I haven't looked it up to be confirmed, but it seems like they're having one big server for Xbox, PS3, and PC.
That worries me. Unless, I don't know if they're going to pull cross-platform gameplay. I mean, if they are, then all the more power to them. It's fine. But if they're not, I don't know if it can.
No, I mean, I think the point was to do cross-platform gameplay.
Oh, that is the point.
Yeah, that's the point.
And well, then I still hope they have the server capacity because that's a lot of people they're reaching out to.
Yeah, I mean, they have been doing a lot of betas recently, and they did one just last weekend. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to participate in it, but I think they'll be able to do it. I think they're gonna have big enough servers, and especially like if they're able to like do the cross-platform thing. I mean, we've seen it before in DC Universe Online. We've seen it in Shadowrun, and it's worked in the past. It's just not, you know, amazing.
I hope it works for Defiance, but I mean, on top of the cross-platform gameplay, they're also planning to merge the two of them together, correct? The TV show and the video game?
Essentially, kind of what they were going to do was, I guess things that happen in the TV show are going to affect, like, the world. Like, let's say a bridge blows up. Then that bridge is going to blow up in the game. And if you were needed to use that bridge or something to get places, you wouldn't be able to go there.
Well, I mean, there's that, and maybe there'll be some way for the video game to affect the TV show. Like maybe a certain amount of, maybe a faction controls this area. Maybe they'll find some way to work that into the next season of the TV show or something.
But yeah, I think it'll be really interesting overall. But yeah, today definitely, you know, StarCraft, new expansion, buy. I feel, if you like StarCraft. SimCity, at this point.
At this point is a buy.
At this point is a buy. And Defiance, you're just going to have to make your own judgment.
Yep.
But speaking of judgments, let's take this over to Director Spotlight with Judge Joe Brown.
Hey, I'm Joe Brown, and welcome to Director Spotlight. Today I'll be telling you about someone you really need to know. Our director of choice today is Zhang Yimou. Zhang Yimou is an award-winning Chinese filmmaker and is considered a part of the 5th generation of Chinese filmmakers. If you are into Chinese action movies at all, which you might be, you may have heard of some of his, like the Quentin Tarantino-produced Hero starring Jet Li as a nameless man that tries to get his revenge on an entire army by himself. Or some of his other action-intense movies like House of the Flying Daggers or Curse of the Golden Flower. Zhang also was in charge of the opening and closing ceremonies for the 2008 Beijing Olympics, which is considered one of the biggest extravagant spectacles in Olympic history. Zhang is from the hometown of Xi'an, China, which is where one of our LOTS friends, Oscar Guo, is actually from. Ni hao, Oscar. But I'm going to tell you about 2 specific movies that you should watch from Zhang Yimou. The first film is his latest one, The Flowers of War. If you're expecting a romantic film because flowers is in the title, then you should learn not to judge a movie by its case. I know that wasn't really a good analogy, but I couldn't think of anything better than book by its cover, so that's the best I got. The Flowers of War takes place in 1937 Nanking, China, jam-packed in the Chinese-Japanese War. The film stars Christian Bale as John Miller, an American man that gets trapped in the middle of this war on his way to bury the head priest of a convent for Catholic girls. The romantic interest, Yu Mo, a courtesan that gets also trapped in the same church, is played by the breathtaking newcomer Ni Ni. The two have great chemistry. Surrounded by Japanese soldiers on all sides, it ends up being more of a hell than a haven. Yu Mo and the young girls convince John to pretend to be a priest in order to get them all to safety out of the area. Now to think of it, it's kind of like a Chinese Argo. This is one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen. You could literally pause the movie after every shot just to let it sink in. I definitely recommend watching this based on a true story movie that is told about a gruesome era of war that an average person doesn't really know a lot about. The next movie we're going to talk about is one of my personal favorites, the 1991 classic Raise the Red Lantern, Oscar nominee for Best Foreign Film and winner of the BAFTA for Best Film Not in the English Language, which is an unnecessarily long title, by the way. The actual tagline for the movie is simply China, 1920, one master, four wives. We follow Song Lian, played by Li Gong. Yet again, names are killing me here. The newest of the four wives. Raise the Red Lantern had a lot of controversy when it came out because it was made to be a direct allegory to the Chinese government and how they control their citizens. And if you think I'm lying or it's far-fetched, whatever, the film was actually banned in China when it came out because of these connections. Throughout the film, we see Song Lian change from complete resistance in the beginning to a forced acceptance of her circumstance to actually being brainwashed into believing she wants to live in this messed up system, which is the message that Zhang is saying in the film, which is why he got, in trouble for it. But now Zhang works for the government in China making Chinese movies, so I guess it worked out. But if you're an aspiring filmmaker or student, or if you just appreciate great art, then you need to see Raise the Red Lantern. There aren't any backflips or elaborate sword fights, but Zhang Yimou's brilliant use of color, lines, mise-en-scène, and storytelling are unparalleled. And that goes for all of his movies, really. Even with many of his awards that he's gotten in his career, Zhang Yimou is still as underrated as he is talented. And if I've been butchering his name the whole time, I haven't seen enough Chinese movies to get the dialect down, so, give me a break. But at least I tried to do the whole last name before the first name thing, right? Alright, so I'm Joe Brown, this has been Director Spotlight. Let's send it back to Dimitri and Mark.
Hi, and welcome to the arena! No pit fights. Let's not. No, we're not even going there again.
Why?
I'm sorry. You look sad. Why are you sad?
Pit fights.
Why are you sad?
We need pit fights.
No, we don't need pit fights.
Okay.
All right.
But you're talking about PAX.
Yeah, I went to PAX this weekend, and I gotta tell you, it was absolutely fantastic. From the moment you walk in, it's just filled with people, excellent cosplays, tabletop free play area. But I gotta tell you, one of the most interesting factors of it was the indie showcase. They had all these amazing indie games. Castle Story from Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that to come out.
Oh, I can't wait for that to come out either. But they were there. I met the actual developers and everything. I got something signed by them and everything, and they had a demo of the game.
You play some?
Yeah. I have the prototype because they sent it out, but they had the updated version, and it looked really awesome.
That's cool.
And then they had the new version of Bastion, which is Transistor. It's the same developers. They're making a new game. It was actually pretty cool. I liked Bastion, but I never played it a bunch, so it was kind of that's a really cool experience. The indie showcase, it was just full of so many things. I can't keep naming all these things. It was just too many.
I was following it online. Unfortunately, I couldn't go.
Yeah. Made you sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
was there anything?
I saw a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Steam luckily was like, hey, look, here's all the indie games that are at PAX. I'm like, oh, now I can just look at them.
Yeah.
And I got to see. I saw Transistor.
Yeah. It
I
looks
saw
pretty.
I saw a lot of really cool stuff.
Oh yeah.
Really
Double
excited.
Fine's doing a new one, which is what is it, Time Police or something like
that.
Something like that. We may get that one wrong, but it looked really funny. Then you get to one of my favorite things about PAX has to be the tabletop free play area, where you just have tables in an entire hall where you can just sit down and play games. And we played 4 hours of Cards Against Humanity, which I can't go into what Cards Against Humanity is on here, but what I'm going to say is this. It is the dirtiest apples to apples you can ever play, and you will go out and get it. There is no go try it. You will go out and get it.
You gotta go out and get it.
No, you have to.
Luckily, that's something I got to play.
Yeah.
Over a break recently. One of my friends had it.
Yeah.
And we spent a good 3 days playing it.
Sure.
It was a good
Sure.
time.
Well, you know, and then
I loved
also I got into some of the new role-playing games, like saw some books, like I got the Game of Thrones. Speaking of the, speaking of the show, I mean, I got the new role-playing game. It's a really cool system. I played it for a bunch. That's why I love it. When you buy these games, you can just go sit down, and random people are just gonna sit down with you.
Everybody wants to play.
And everyone wants to play. Like, we started out Cards Against Humanity, which is 3 of us. It ended up being 9 people at the table.
Yeah, the box says like you could play with 20 people.
Yeah, and we ended up playing with 9 people.
That's
but
a lot of people.
you know, on the vein of indie games before, you and I have been playing a game pretty recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenshi.
Kenshi.
Kenshi's a lot of fun.
All I'm going to say, go to Google, type in Kenshi, it's Kenshi. All right, go type it in, download the game. It's in alpha right about now. They just released a big update, and out of all honesty, it is, even in alpha, one of the coolest games I've ever played.
It's also on Steam now with the whole Greenlight thing. You could just go to Steam and buy it. It's like $15.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, it's worth it. It's a relatively impressive game for being $15 and only in alpha.
Yeah, it's one of those things. What it's going to be like when you get beyond, even in beta. What's it going to be like? He hasn't even put all the models on the skins, and it sounds like we're detrimenting it. No, we love this game so much.
It's a good game.
It's an amazing game. Like, what would you say is your favorite part about Kenshi so far?
My favorite part so far has been, I was going like town to town, and I was like talking to like people at bars, and one of the dudes at the bar is like, "Hey, my name's the Infinite Wing Wang. Invite me into your party." And I'm like, what is this?
Okay, to recap, you can get these characters. You walk into bars, and you can totally just swim in. It costs like 700 cats for a regular, which is the money system. Costs you a certain amount of money.
You just recruit people.
But then there's this guy that was like, he was like 5,000 cats, and then you look at his name, and it's like, I'm the Infinite Wing Wang, and I'm just like sitting there, and I'm like, okay.
No, he started off at $1 million, 10 million, and I brought him down to about 5,000.
Yeah, he says it'll cost you like $1 million. So it's $1 million cats to do it. I'm like, oh, that's unreasonable. All right, 50. 50,000.
Like,
50,000.
what?
50,000. Then he's like 10,000. And then he's like 5,000. It's like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But the game mechanics, so even now, are just really fun. Though in the beginning, I mean, you can run from town to town and not fight, but you will just get rocked if you try to fight in the beginning on your own. It's very realistic to the point of you can't just walk in and kill everybody. It doesn't work that way. If you try, you're gonna lose.
There's a lot of death. There's a lot of times you're gonna die. Or if you play like me, you run out into the desert, and then you just bring them all back to town and let the guards kill them, and then you just loot their bodies and sell all their weapons and armor.
It makes you feel like a horrible person, but it's so satisfying.
I'm not a horrible person.
Well, that concerns me.
It's a way of living. It's the only way to survive.
So we all know what you're gonna be like in the apocalypse. So you just,
bring bandits back to town and murder them.
Sad.
They're bandits.
But they're people too.
They chose a bad lifestyle.
This is true. This is true.
They chose the wrong lifestyle, and because of that, they're gonna get killed by the guards.
Not you, the guy that went like,
Not me.
hey, I'm provoking you right now, and then just
what's up?
Running away.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this: go out, buy that game. It's absolutely fantastic. It is just a game that's worth following, worth going up. You know, have you seen anything lately that you get across, or is it just Kenshi you've been really playing lately?
A lot of Kenshi.
Yeah.
Like I said in Womp's Words, I'm just excited for Defiance coming up.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
And it's really just been Kenshi lately.
Really Kenshi.
This past like 2 weeks, I've just been enthralled in this game.
I've never been so satisfied to watch my character run for 3 hours. Just like, oh. He's still running.
We're in a giant, vast desert of emptiness, and I am running and having a great time.
Yeah, and it just, like I literally minimized the screen, walked outside, come back, and like, oh, I'm still running. But I'm actually enthralled with the fact that I'm running.
It's awesome. It's amazing.
Well, I think honestly that's all the time we have for the show today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it's been a great show so far. Actually, one of my personal favorites, and we'll see you next time.
Probably. I'm gonna go check out Area 51. We'll see how that comes out.
Oh, and next week we are gonna talk about is or is not Eric Cuban. We're gonna get down to the deep delving of the mystery.
I mean, he wrote a refrigerator here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I thought it was a tire.
Not a refrigerator.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week. We'll discuss.
There aren't any, backflips, extravagant sword fights, but Zhang Yimou's brilliant use of color, lice, all right. His use of lice, superb. I've never seen it that good.